Theme song in 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Here we go. Comfortable Monday. Just another comfy Monday. I just bowed for the listeners. What's going on this week? This is 230, episode 230. The show. What are we doing this week? Something happened. A lot of stuff happened. Oh god! You know what? I tell you, the lighting looks fantastic. I'll just say that right off the bat. Okay, let's get started because this is late and I got a lot of stuff to talk about. All right, so here we go. Deadline. This comes from Peter White, written by Peter White over at Deadline. Paramount Movie Network put on ice as Viacom CBS nixes rebrand for Yellowstone Network. Now, don't let the headline fool you. The Paramount Network staying around. If you don't know, a couple years ago, Spike TV rebranded to Paramount Network. Like truly, like a couple of years ago. And they were going to be, the Paramount Network or Viacom CBS is trying to currently turn Paramount Network into a premier, high-class, basic cable network, much like AMC has done for itself. And I'll go ahead and say I'll put FX in the same vein, the FX family of networks. Remember when FX started FXX, the second FX channel, and that was meant to be comedy and action, I believe, but mostly comedy. And they moved Always Sunny over there when Louis was on. They kept Louis at FX because that was a premiere show for them. And they like every comedy show basically premiered on FXX. And then eventually that just stopped. It just kind of stopped happening. It is still mostly comedy focused, but now it doesn't matter what network it comes on, what network anything comes on for the FX family. With the exception of family networks, with the exception of FXM, which is all movies, because FX Movies is a movie channel. I like FX. I also like Paramount Network. I like one show on Paramount Network. I think Paramount Network's fine. So last year, it was talked about. Oh, and actually 2 years ago, it looks like. Apparently, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about things sometimes. Most of the time. Viacom CBS was essentially going to turn Paramount Network not only into the premier basic cable network, but it was going to be a movie network. As Mr. White writes, Deadline understands that the company has put the plans, which first emerged in September 2020, on hold, part due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has a major impact on production. But Viacom CBS has reverse plans to rebrand the cable network as Paramount Movie Network. So what they were going to do is they were going to do 52 new movies a year. 52 original new movies a year. With one miniseries or scripted series airing per quarter. So that's 4 basically big shows in the same vein as Yellowstone. And 52 new movies. And I believe it was Hallmark this year, or this past Christmas, and they did something like, let's see, Hallmark Christmas movies. I spelled Christmas with an X. I spelled Christmas, X-Christmas. X-Christmas. They did 40 new Christmas movies. So you can see what kind of quality was going to come out of there. And I know Paramount Network's different from Hallmark and the rest of those, but I mean, come on. When Netflix did one new comedy special a year, I don't think all of them were hits. As part of the rebrand plans, which were announced by Chris McCarthy, President and CEO of Viacom CBS Media Networks and MTV Entertainment Studios, the company canceled a slew of unscripted series. Ink Master, Wife Swap, Battle of the Fittest Couples, did not know that last show existed. And they were going to move shows like Bar Rescue and Lip Sync Battle to other networks. This isn't the only network that rebranded under the Viacom CBS banner. Comedy Central, Jesus, you hear the roll by right now. if you hear it on the microphone, it sounds like 7 wagons are driving by or riding by, and there's 12 people out there pulling them, and they're gone. Okay, so Viacom CBS rebranded. What they did was essentially a couple years ago they had all of these networks when they came back together, when Viacom and CBS came back together, they had everything from Comedy Central to MTV to VH1, BET, and every other channel under those that that don't really matter. Bravo, I guess. And then they basically took amalgamations of both of those companies and made one big television group, and then kind of downsized the networks themselves. And so they had then that's when they became the tentpole networks for Viacom CBS. So again, Bravo, VH1, MTV, not MTV Classic, not MTV2, just MTV, Comedy Central, Paramount Network. And they define those networks with their, I'm doing this all from memory, so don't shoot the messenger. They decided to have all of the cartoon shows, all the adult animation go over to Comedy Central. All of the I guess the sitcom stuff went over to, or live action stuff went over to MTV. And then VH1 got its own thing, Bravo got the reality stuff, and then Paramount Network in that move was going to become the new movie place. And it seems as though, I don't know what's going on MTV because I don't watch that, but it seems as though the Comedy Central idea is still, going through, because they have at least one new adult animation show coming. They air reruns of Futurama and King of the Hill, and they had BoJack Horseman for a little bit, but I don't know what happened to the rights for that. I guess they just let those slip after 6 months. And they air what's it called, The Office, and they air it in order. What is this deal? What's the deal? What's the deal with these cable networks airing series in order? Right now, FX is airing The Simpsons in order and King of the Hill in order. Just pick random episodes. These are cartoons, and Family Guy in order. Just pick random episodes. We don't need to see. They're not serialized. I don't understand. If I was a programming person, and I've worked with a bunch of programming people. If I was a programming person, I would just air, like not amalgamation. I would air like a bunch of themed nights. I would have Mondays with Marge, and just have a Monday night with 6 episodes of The Simpsons back to back, or 4, however many they do in that block, and they're all Marge episodes. Or I would have like the Moms of Monday, and it's just episodes of The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers and Family Guy, and they follow the matriarchs of the family. I would just do themed nights, and then Halloween, obviously, do the Halloween episodes, and Valentine's Day do the Valentine's Day episodes, and Christmas. That's an easier way to do it. And I've seen how programming people work because I've been in meetings with them, and they go, "We're gonna do this night." Like when you're watching Cartoon Network, and I'm not saying that because I work for them now, but when you're watching Cartoon Network, you see just like a bunch of episodes of Craig of the Creek air, and they don't all. Sometimes they have to do with each other, sometimes they don't. Or the same thing for Teen Titans Go, Nickelodeon, SpongeBob. It's Gravity Falls. Oh well, Disney XD airs that stuff in order too. Anyway, I know a lot of thought goes into it. I understand that, but just saying. Ink Master is supposed to return to Paramount Plus. Bar Rescue returned to Paramount Network last May. The Last Cowboy was an unscripted series from Yellowstone co-creator Taylor Sheridan, moved from Paramount Network to CMT. They own CMT. I forgot about that. So they own BET, CMT, Bravo, VH1, MTV, Comedy Central, Paramount Network. That's 7 networks. Good Lord. It's a lot. Disney's got like Disney XD, ABC, ESPN, ESPN, ESPN. Okay. Well, let's just name one. ESPN, ABC. Okay, fine. Whatever. When you put this stuff into consideration, it's a lot of networks. I wonder what happened to the idea itself. Paramount's a very finicky company when it comes to this. They're very wishy washy on their decisions to do whatever it is for when it comes to this, to airing or to acquisitions and things. They're one of the few that networks and companies that when they have Paramount Plus, obviously, and they're the home of the new Star Trek shows, and that means they have the old Star Trek shows and sometimes the movies and everything. But they also sell the rights for Star Trek. They're not the rights, the syndication rights, I guess. They also give those away to other streamers. Like you can watch Star Trek, the Next Generation, and the other Deep Space Nine, and the original show, and the rest of those, Voyager. I'm gonna keep naming them. That's 5. That's it. I did. You can watch those shows on Netflix and I believe on Hulu. Because that's a good way. Yeah, you make your money, but then also if people want to watch the continuation of the series, then watch it on Paramount Plus. Speaking of big companies, this comes from Hollywood Reporter, written by George Zalai. NBCU's Peacock reaches 24.5 million U.S. monthly active accounts, and I'm one of them. Quarterly loss of 559 million. This is big news. Comcast, Peacock basically lost $1.7 billion for Comcast within the last year. That includes that $559 million new thing amount of money. Last summer, there were 54 million signups in the U.S., but they didn't provide a third quarter update, which means that they were already in the downward spiral. Peacock launched, and I don't think it is just like the previous version of this. Comcast also launched CISO in when this show started, when C Plus Comedy started. In like 2000 and I graduated college, so it was before that. In like 2011 or 12, something like that. And CISO was just comedy focused. It was $5 a month, and it was not. I mean, it had some good shows, but it was not a good streaming platform, unfortunately. And when Peacock was announced, it was kind of they said it's going to be free, but then you can also pay for it. To get rid of the ads, and then also you have to pay more money to get a lot of exclusive things, which I think it hurts them in the long run. 3 different tiers, and it's relative, it's affordable, but are people really going to be seeking out Peacock shows? And a lot of the shows are good. MacGruber is good. Rutherford Falls, all the Hitman, all the shows are great. Saved by the Bell, and what else? What else do I watch on there? I watched AP Bio, but they canceled that. So it's unfortunate to see that Peacock is falling, and I have been championing this idea since the beginning that Peacock should have just been like an Amazon channel or an add-on or something. Why would you opt to lose 1.7 billion? Everybody wants a piece of the streaming pie. I understand, and everybody, whether internally they think they're going to be up with the greats of Netflix and Disney Plus, or they're okay like Paramount Plus, like Viacom, CBS they know for a fact over there that Paramount Plus, which was CBS All Access, is an add-on streamer. Is that just what I wonder what the timeline would be for Showtime Anytime or Showtime rather, to be nixed and mixed in with Paramount Plus. I think having those two, you can get them together. I believe you can get not a bundle, but you can get them together. It's the same company, but having, I mean, it's the same conundrum with CNN Plus. We don't need CNN Plus. We have HBO Max. But with CNN Plus, you have live streaming news. Same Fox News also has a streaming app, and it's only a matter. CBS News is doubling down on news streaming. I'll be doing an episode on all of this in a couple of weeks of news time. Eventually, when I get back to news time. Right now, we're in a little bit of a break. Oh, okay. Anyway, I just got an email. I just checked it. No offense. No offense. I'm doing an episode. I gotta keep track of my personal email. For the full year 2021, media unit results included an adjusted loss of $1.7 billion related to Peacock on $778 million in revenue. Whew. A big improvement in the theme parks unit, thanks to the reopening of after a big pandemic hit and the launch of a new park in China, more than offset declines in other divisions of the entertainment arm. And then they had a big loss of cable subscribers as well. I wonder what Comcast's end game is for Peacock. Because Universal is doing Comcast. They're doing they're starting the limited theatrical window. They're the ones who jump-started this entire trend, which is good for them right now. But if they need to release movies, because they pushed back 3 different Fast and Furious movies, including the last one that just came out. So I wonder where they're going to go next with Peacock. After this quarter, I think it's probably going to lose more money because there's nothing that's driving people to sign up for it. Even if it's free, no one's going to pay for it. I accidentally still subscribed to it because I was watching MacGruber, and then I put on the calendar. I always do this. I put on my calendar when to cancel subscriptions, and then it resubscribed early for me. It subscribed a day early because I had it on the day of subscribing. I should have put it the day before. So Peacock still exists, and quite frankly, I don't think it should. But competition is good for streamers, and Peacock is going to push these other ones to do. Peacock offers something that only Paramount Plus offers, in that when you're subscribed, they have 24-hour channels, versus the only other way to get that is if you go to Pluto TV or Tubi TV. And yes, those are free, but they're going to be more heavily ad-supported. And if you watch the free channels on Paramount Plus or Peacock, then you're not going to get all the same. You're not going to get, Pluto has, let's say, 200 channels, and you're probably only interested in maybe 20 of them. And yeah, you can favorite them, but that only goes so far. Versus with Peacock, it's going to be, if you're interested in the family of Comcast or NBC Universal channels, or the same thing for Paramount Plus. If you're interested in the Viacom CBS channels, then you can watch all the SpongeBob stuff, even though that same channel probably exists for Pluto because Viacom CBS owns Pluto. It's about retention. Just stay on the same app and you'll be fine. That's what they want. Hey, let me jump down really quick. I want to do a different topic right now, and then I'll go to the last thing. This is going to be very short. This comes from the New York Times, written by Brooks Barnes, the Double B, documentary critical of Disney from the Disney family. Abigail E. Disney, who is a Disney, she's I think that was her great uncle, excuse me. Yeah, her grandfather, yeah. She has made she's been very outspoken about Disney's not recent, but growing monopolistic nature and how it treats its employees and things of that nature and the people around it. She's created an activist-minded documentary, as Mr. Barnes writes, The American Dream and Other Fairy Tales, about the pay gap between corporate haves and have-nots. It's going to premiere today, Monday, January 31st. To paint the harsh picture, Ms. Disney and the person she made this with, Kathleen Hughes, who directed the movie. You know Kathleen Hughes. She directed, let's see. Oh, I love how loud this keyboard is. Hey, maybe I looked up the wrong Kathleen Hughes. Oh, I definitely did. This one has not worked since 1998. So maybe I should type in the word Kathleen Hughes, director. Yeah, I guess this is her. Oh my gosh. Am I crazy? Oh, here's her LinkedIn. I'm gonna click on her LinkedIn and she'll get the little pop. Oh, look at that. Okay. She's a director. I guess I can't find anything that she's done. But let it be known, she's a director. I put my hand up to signify I'm serious about this. To paint a harsh picture, Ms. Disney and Ms. Hughes profile 4 Disneyland custodians who, at the time of filming pre-pandemic, earned $15 an hour. They all struggle mightily with soaring housing costs in Southern California. One says he knows Disneyland workers who have had to, quote, make a decision between medication or food. But, however, Abigail Disney's own company, her own production company, which was co-founded with Adrian Becker, this comes from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Rebecca Keegan, has had its own, quote, heartbreaking treatment. She's a philanthropist, a philanthropist, Ms. Disney. At her company, Level Forward, it's been associated with an impressive slate of theater and film projects from women and people of color, including Alanis Morissette and Diablo Cody's musical Jagged Little Pill, the Jeremy O'Hara's play Slave Play, or Jeremy O'Hara's Slave Play, rather, and Heidi Schreck's Broadway production of What the Constitution Means to Me, which is on Amazon Prime, if you want to watch that. But while Level Forward backed inclusive projects, it could be a marginalizing workplace, especially for women of color, according to several former employees. Becker wanted staff of color to be prominently featured in publicity surrounding the company, but minimize their power within it, say some former employees. Now, obviously, Ms. Disney does not have the final say in a lot of, well, I mean, she probably does have the final say, and maybe she was just too busy. I'm not defending her or anything, but you know, this is what happens when you're trying to. Disney is a big company, and she obviously, and then Abigail broke off from that company because it's not, you know, in recent years it just hasn't been the best place for work, and even so, even in a smaller production company like hers, it's still discriminatory and unfair to former employees where she is. And they've acknowledged that, which is good. Abigail Disney and Ms. Hughes have acknowledged that even that they have been part of the problem. Also, let's not talk about net worth. I see there's a sentence here on the Hollywood Reporter thing where who has a net worth. Net worth means nothing. Net worth means nothing in the long run. I just listened to Bob Iger talk to Kara Swisher about him and working for Disney and all the things. She didn't press too far into something I would like is the wages and all that stuff, but they did talk about it. And even still, you know, him being separated from Disney, he still has I mean, he's looking back on it with rose-colored glasses, rose-tinted glasses. Level Forward is set up as a public benefit corporation designed to be a for-profit entity, but one that calls for serving the public good as part of its charter. It's generated $40 million in production financing for its various projects. And Disney has even said in 2018 at the Sundance Film Festival that Level Forward is committed to the vision of unlocking, amplifying storytelling from all corners and perspectives. I wonder, there's 11 employees since the fall of 2020. I wonder how they're going to get past this. And even still, her documentary isn't going to. We know that Disney's not. I mean, well, you should know. First of all, you should know. Disney does not really pay its parks employees very well. And it's not going to change anything because Disney has even responded. The company has responded to Abigail's accusatory messages, saying we are saddened and deeply ashamed. Things along that nature. It's crazy because Bob Chapek, boy oh boy, walked away with so much money last year. Same thing for Bob Iger. They both walked away with a crap ton of money. Even during a year where there was we're in the second year of the pandemic. They walked away with so much, $32.5 million for Chapek. And yeah, that comes with the title. Like the money comes with the title, and yeah, you're leading a company and everything. But when there are people making $16 an hour or 24, less than, or at least a little bit more than minimum wage in Southern California or Florida. What is that movie with that movie that was shot? The guy shot on iPhone at the end of it. What was it called? Florida Project. It was a great movie, and you got to see what it's like. Although it's fictionalized, but you get to see what it's like living in near Disney, like near a theme park. And it's supposed to be this beautiful, wondrous place, and for it to just sting, for you not to be able to afford any of that stuff. Florida Project's a fantastic movie. Who is it? Soderbergh? Sean Baker. That's the guy who shoots stuff on his phone, which I think is stupid. Don't shoot things on your phone. He also shot Tangerine, which I think was shot on his phone. Shot on the phone, but also has like a $20,000 lens or something like that. Okay. Let's move on to the final thing so I can get out of here. We're talking about Neil Young and Spotify, baby. Obviously, you've had to have heard about this. This comes from Wall Street Journal and Steel. Spotify takes down Neil Young's music after his Joe Rogan ultimatum. The short of it is, the camera shut off on me. All right, I guess that it's telling me, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about this. Here we go. Go to break. And we're back to the show. Let's get on with this. And Steel, Wall Street Journal, if you recall. Spotify takes down Neil Young's music after his Joe Rogan ultimatum. So Neil Young has gotten fed up with Joe Rogan. Talking about that misinformation over there with the COVID-19. And last week, at one point, Neil Young says, hey, Spotify, you remove Joe Rogan or remove my music. I'm not gonna be sitting down there anymore. Taking this because Joe Rogan is spouting misinformation on his show about the pandemic, and he's letting his guests do the same thing. And Neil Young does not want any part of it. Well, as it turns out, Spotify just let them have it. Spotify just said, look, we can't do that. And Neil Young's took his music down. His label took the music down. Joni Mitchell joined him as well. That's how this next one comes from Ann Steele over at the Wall Street Journal. Neil Young's radio channel on Sirius XM is revived after Spotify removal. So Spotify's loss was everybody else's gain. Apple Music, Amazon Prime Music, and Sirius XM, they all jumped at the chance to say, hey, Neil Young, we have your music still, and we're going to champion you. Apple Music even touted Neil Young as the home of, or something like that. What was it? It was like the home of Control F A P L. Whatever. The home of Neil Young's music. They made playlists. SiriusXM, as I previously stated, brought back the whatchamacallit. And Neil Young himself, he referred to Spotify as music quality as, I'm going to curse here, as shitty. It's a very funny way for like an old man to just say like, oh, Spotify's got shitty music quality. I think it's great. Apparently, he likes Amazon Music's music quality. Tidal even jumped in on that. The Jay-Z music streaming service. And Tidal has the best hi-fi music streaming. It does. I think it does. Tidal and Apple Music are tied. I have not tried Amazon's. Even then, Spotify's market share dropped last week. This comes from Variety, written by Todd Spangler. They lost more than $2 billion in market value, which is a lot of money for one of the few unicorns, tech unicorns, to make money. And it lost $2 billion. Shares of Spotify fell 6%. But I mean, that's not fair because last week it was a bad week in the stock game. It was now there's a 19-month low of $171 per share. $171.32 per share. Spotify's stock price is already on the slide, having plummeted 25% year to date as of January 25th, the day before Young's catalog was pulled off of Spotify. Also, Netflix, we know that their market share dropped by a cool 24% or so. Now, they did have a rebound, and Joe Rogan did come out and say that he did not apologize, but he did say that he's there to have conversations or some, whatever crap he said. And he did not respond to the show. He responded on Instagram, I believe, and I saw that was the talk of the town this morning on CNBC and the morning shows across ABC, NBC, and CBS, as well as Wall Street Journal's own, what's it called? What's News? But here's an interesting piece from Ashley Carman over at The Verge, why Spotify can't afford to lose Joe Rogan. Now you won't see Spotify come out and say that Joe was wrong. In fact, they did release a statement on Sunday or Monday, yesterday or today, saying that they will be posting if for COVID-19 shows, they would for episodes of podcasts rather that talk about the pandemic, the COVID-19 and all that stuff. They're going to put up like disclaimers, which is the same thing that Disney did for movies, the early movies from like the early 1900s rather, not like 1900s. It's early movies that involve race or depictions of race and everything. Oh God, what movie was it? I saw a movie on Amazon. It was a Disney movie, and in the bottom corner it's not a movie, it's a TV show. If you look at the Chippendale Rescue Rangers show is about to be released on DVD in February. The complete series for those who want that for some reason, which is probably going to be. But if you look on the back corner of the case, it says racial depictions. It's like a racial depictions thing. It says like God, now I gotta do this. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers DVD. Oh, there's a movie coming. I forgot about that. There's a new version of the DVD coming out. There's already one that's already out. Who would buy Tailspin? Again, me. Wait, I think I saw it. Okay, yeah. This is at Best Buy, pre-order $35 on Blu-ray. Oh, they don't have the back of it. Anyway, it says it. It says it on the back. If you see it on Amazon or something, it's a very funny thing. So, Ashley Carmen is indeed correct. Spotify spent a crap ton of money for Joe Rogan. That is their highest paid show. They paid for a highest paid podcast product. They paid for $100 million. That's still like one guy. And as Carmen writes, it marks a critical turning point in Spotify's company narrative. They're not just a music company anymore. They're doing these radio shows, and this is going to cost them so much money. The interesting part of it's not going to cost. This move is not going to cost them money. But the interesting part of this is that Neil Young even admitted that he's by taking his music off of Spotify, he's going to lose 60% of his revenue income. Revenue income. What does that mean? Revenue income. And I I don't know if that's exactly an accurate figure. And I'm sure that his team told him to say those numbers or whatever, or like they had a meeting in those numbers. But whatever. Anyway, because I know a lot of people don't make money off of Spotify or for streaming music. The company loses money every time someone streams Young's songs. Spotify does, which is why Spotify wanted to get into podcasting in the first place. So if you're not as big as Drake or Taylor Swift, as Carmen writes, then it doesn't even matter if your music's on there or not. But he's still one of the most well-known musicians out there. I can't say the same for and also Joni Mitchell as well. But if you know music, then you know them. If you don't know who they are, then this doesn't pertain to you. But also, you should know if you like listening to music, you should know every facet and all the people who set up the current. Like if you like rock, then you should know the people who help create rock and where it came from and all those things. If you like rap, then you should know that stuff, and there should be a lot of cross section and everything. I think the best musicians are the ones who know everything. Like Lil Wayne, he listens to rock, he listens to rap, he listens to Motown, and because he's sampled all that stuff, and so obviously he's a good musician. Same thing for Springsteen. Taylor, wonderful. Even Drake, he knows all of that Caribbean stuff, and he can channel that and do his own. Okay, anyway, whatever, who cares? Other shows on Spotify like Armchair Expert and Call Her Daddy, which are I think Call Her Daddy, which is I just hate saying that, and I hate those people who make those type of shows. I think that those are also, I think that's also Spotify exclusive, but buying ads for those shows don't equate to even what Rogan can do. And even though he's doesn't have the same listenership as he does when he was independent and not on Spotify exclusively, because that's the only place you can listen to him, he's still doing just streets ahead, to quote Community. Streets ahead of what anybody else is doing, unfortunately. The industry relies on word of mouth and curated lists, and the hope is that software recommendations will do more someday in the future. But Spotify is not there yet. No one is there yet. So Spotify not only sided with its star podcaster, but is also completely financially motivated to push his content to users, and can't even blame a bad algorithm. Spotify told the Wall Street Journal yesterday, or whatever, it has taken down 20,000 podcast episodes in violation of, quote, detailed content policies related to COVID-19. It's unclear if what I quoted, what Carmen quoted above, is the detailed policy or if it is goes beyond a sentence. And then she asked, what does Spotify consider crossing the line? It's a corporate structure that they're making their own rules and they're adhering to their own rules, and they're still making it up as things go along. Unfortunately, that's just how it's going to have to go for now when it comes to how when they buy these big things, and the freedom of speech becomes a part of it all, a part of the conversation. When you listen to a show like Comedy Bang Bang, and a comedian makes a joke that is dark, or a character makes a joke along those lines, we know they're joking. But when it comes to a conversational podcast such as the Joe Rogan Experience or Armchair Expert, or it doesn't even matter, WTF, shows like Fresh Air, it doesn't matter. It's somebody said, I'll say a fifth one. I don't know. The Ezra Klein Show. People have to be held accountable for the things that they say, and it's tough. It's tough when I think even the bigwigs at Spotify know that they should say something, but they have to stay along by keeping their big podcaster happy and keeping advertisers happy, and if they'll go with the thing that makes them money most. All right, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you see me talk to comedians sometimes. Tried to set up an interview last week. I was offered one, said, hey, can we do it this week? And they said, yeah, let's get back. And then then they came back and they said, they're feeling kind of busy. Can you do it in spring? I went, spring? The thing that they're doing now is coming out now, but whatever, it's fine. You want to see a video version of the show? You want to see the kind of snacks that are over my left shoulder? Camera right. You can head to, there's some chips, there's some ramen, there's a couple of taco shell boxes that one of them is going to expire today, actually. A couple of cereal boxes. YouTube.com/cpluscomedy to see that. You can also see your premiere show News Time, which I have taken, for some reason, 3 weeks off, but I have plenty of time to write. But I have to write 3 episodes this week. We'll see what happens. It'll happen. What else? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, @CPlusComedy. Rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends about this show. This is the end of the episode. I'm gonna press outro right now. Goodbye.